All right. We're on a Star Trek kick.
Yeah.
I mean, wait, it always comes up in conversation, and it's very quotable, and I love quoting it. And I love when people get my quote, and especially love it when people don't get the quote.
Oh, dude.
I'm like, really? Seriously?
Like
Somebody quote no.
dude, when I was working in the kitchen, and there's a gal from South Africa, right? And oh gosh, she was into America. And she actually got her citizenship and everything while I knew her. And anyway, she was into all the like Kardashians and the Real Housewives, and she knew everybody and everything that was going on, this, that, and the other, on American culture and all this shit. And she was working in this one workstation, and she got all cleaned up and moved out of the way so I could take over. And I said, "Hey, thanks for the space, because you know what they say about space." And she said, "What? It's the final frontier."
Crickets.
She did not recognize.
Was this like you don't have any place?
I don't watch Star Wars.
Was this just like your Batman bomb joke?
Yes, in the same kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I was like, "You're kidding me. You don't even have to have ever watched an episode of Star Trek in your life to know Space, the Final Frontier is a quote from it." Oh my God, it's one of the most recognized quotes
ever.
Anyway, I just couldn't believe it. Oh, but you know everybody in the Kardashians and every Real Housewife and all the other bullshit.
Every Merkel they have.
Channel or whatever the fuck. Oh, but you never heard Space, the Final Frontier in your life. Are you kidding me?
So,
anyway.
Getting back to it.
Star Trek, man.
Yeah.
Star Trek lives.
Maybe not.
It's dying, but it still lives.
Yeah. Well, in a technical sense.
It's not dead yet.
Yeah.
It might get better.
I wish.
I hope it gets better.
God damn it. We haven't even gotten to the thing.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, dude.
And so I've always had a problem with the Borg in the sense that the one cube that first encountered, we're going to show chronological, not yeah. That they first encountered in sector J25 or whatever.
In the Q one.
Yes, Q who. Yeah,
shot the Enterprise in the Delta Quadrant, and they encountered a Borg cube. Yes.
So it's apparently that one that came and fucked with Picard in All Good Things, and then gets destroyed. But then also, in First Contact, that seemed like a kamikaze mission because they had to get to Earth to change the past. Okay. Yeah. And they have all these transwarp hubs that pop right out in Sector 001.
Right.
So wouldn't you think you would send a whole armada? Because they sent an armada after 8472 and they got their ass handed to them. But it's like, wait, if you're here to assimilate everything and you know about the humans, not talking about the Hansons or regeneration from Enterprise, but you're aware of them and you've had those systems, those outposts in the neutral zone that you've scooped up. Why wouldn't you just keep going from that point in the neutral zone, going both directions? You know what I'm saying? From a tactical standpoint, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and the Borg Queen herself was on that one cube that went back in time.
Yeah.
Don't you think she would have hung back and just let the drones do their thing?
That's what a queen's supposed to do.
They're in a collective consciousness. Hello, she's there with them.
Yeah, she doesn't have to be there.
She doesn't have to be physically present.
Which I know people have a lot of problems with the idea of a queen to begin with. I really didn't.
I know, I never have.
Yeah.
It's almost insectish.
Yeah.
And hive mind and collective consciousness and all that business. And so speaking of the collective consciousness, they would have all the knowledge and experience and
of each person in each race
of every species they had assimilated.
Yeah.
Yes. And so
they at least knew enough not to want to assimilate the Kazon. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we'll just give them a miss.
Yeah. Like, no thanks.
No thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Could you imagine a Borg Kazon? Oh, fuck. No, dude. But you would think that for the most part, most of the species they'd assimilated were probably
technologically advanced.
Not so much.
Oh, okay.
But Some of them, sure, of course.
Yeah.
And maybe some of them very technically advanced, but oh, gee darn, they got assimilated.
Yeah.
And it happened. And they have this all in. And so you would think.
So do you think that, but hold on, wait, right there, that might be, do you think it creates a feedback loop and it kind of dulls the whole collective down by having to keep assimilating different species and restructuring and reorienting, and it doesn't really actually work? It's sort of like a Windows update that doesn't really do anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, in some cases.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
It's a bug check or something. Bug fix.
Like, would you really? Would you look if you had to if you were an alien species and you came to assimilate Jamestown? Would you be like?
You wouldn't get a whole lot out of us.
I'm just saying.
Sorry, but no, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Especially if you were an advanced culture.
Yeah.
Right, and
that's what I'm saying. It's like.
I mean, I've seen memes, I bet aliens, when they go by Earth, they lock the doors.
Yeah. This neighborhood's getting sketchy. Oh.
Right, dude.
So I that's my problem with the Borg. I think it's great. I think it's a cool concept.
Yeah. But
we're not going to talk about
there's some unrealized potential in it.
Yes.
Because, I mean, really, they when they assimilate it,
do you think Descent was the beginning of the end?
They assimilated or the majority of a species or whatever, and they're assimilating all the knowledge.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the majority of them were probably on the more primitive level.
Yeah.
Easy targets, whatever. But, I mean, all it takes is just to get in there and start infecting and assimilating, and the next thing you know, it's all done.
And you got Joe Bob down the street who,
Right, but
so that's what
you also got the Einstein of that race, that species,
But what I'm saying is, like, it just doesn't. I think maybe it does create a feedback loop, and it does kind of dull the whole system down, and that's why they aren't as smart as they could be.
Well, that and
or at least from a tactical standpoint, you know me.
Oh God, I'm sorry. Hard to find what I'm trying to say about it.
Is it another contrivance that they have to lose?
Well, that and the drones only have access to certain
files. Yes.
Yes. When you're third of five.
Yeah. He gets to clean the toilets, that sort of thing.
Right.
So it's another system that doesn't work like all the other systems that don't work.
Right.
I'm just like what?
And it just seems like they could make better use of. They would have made better use of some of the technological knowledge that they would have gotten from species, especially over time.
And like
supposedly
supposedly some Krenim have been assimilated.
You would think,
yeah.
And I mean, it will only take a handful of a given species
to get the kind of broad
stroke of what the fuck they are. Yeah, all of them.
Yeah,
like they didn't.
So their output is more than their intake. They're putting way too much out to get not so much return. Like say you spend, say you're spending $20 billion and you get like 500,000 back. That's actually worth a damn. You know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah. It's like,
oh, they're not getting a very good return on their investment.
Exactly.
But no, I mean, it really is just.
I think I'm a Ferengi, actually.
It's it's the numbers. They get resistance is futile. You will be assimilated, and they did pretty much, I guess, assimilate entire species.
Yeah.
Got to their home world and got all of them, and it had more drones in their numbers is more or less what it was.
Cannon fodder.
Yeah, and in many cases, I'm sure, in most cases, they were not very technologically advanced. It wasn't nothing they could do about it.
So it's still a hierarchy.
And so they faced a federation who could do something about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, no, I'm just saying, because it's still a hierarchical structure.
Yes.
It's authoritarian driven.
Yes.
Because it's a fucking queen.
All the way up to the queen.
Yeah. So
it's like the alien queen who ate all the eggs.
Yeah.
in her way, the Borg Queen is laying her eggs when they are assimilating these.
So it's the same old
Well,
problem.
what about children? I'm sure they assimilated
Plenty of kids.
plenty of them.
Yeah.
Because they didn't. I mean,
and then with the naturation chambers, do they make Borg breed?
They assimilate an entire
race
world of beings.
Yeah,
there's going to be kids there. Yes.
And how do they have sex? Do they just take the egg and sperm out of the bodies and put them in a tank, and there you go, like it's Japan?
Oh, I wouldn't even think that the Borg were sexual at all.
No, but what I'm saying is because you saw the naturation chambers.
Yeah, well, then they would be test tube babies.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there would be no copulation.
No.
No.
I wasn't saying that, but I was saying that it was just, I was like, okay.
Oh, no, they would be totally like test tube babies.
And then is that the way that they're...
artificially...
And is that the way they weed out the riffraff, as to speak? So it's very much a socialist kind of eugenicist society.
Well, why wouldn't it be if it was? I mean, the Borg...
No, I'm not. I'm just saying.
Because I mean, yeah, they would probably manipulate the genetics and whatever else, and make sure they got the ideal offspring.
Yeah. And in 7 fucking seasons, they never got a hold of the doctor's mobile emitter. Right. But it happened on oh god. Anyway, alrighty. Let us know what you think.
So no, I've had issues with the Borg too.
Yeah.
No. We're not. I'm almost done. But yeah, they're
problematic. They are.
They are, and
unless you're willing to keep that sustained terror threat of them.
And I don't think it was very well thought through in the first place when they teased it in the Q-Who episode.
Yeah.
You know, and all of a sudden, they had to come up with a new adversary, and...
because those fucking Cardis weren't working for him, huh?
Yeah, and the Ferengi didn't really work.
Yeah.
And... yeah, I just think it was underdeveloped in general, and they made it up as they went along.
Sad.
Pretty much.
Sad. Very sad.
Because it was a really cool.
Yeah.
No, the Borg are cool, but no, they're not without their little issues.
Right?
Right.
Alrighty. Like, share, subscribe.